You've heard James say it a million times. Respect the polygon. At Weather Call, we make the polygon better. We call, text, or email you so you'll always know when you're in danger. No matter who you are, there's a Weather Call solution right for you. Check us out at weathercallservices.com.
Here's your weather video for this Saturday morning. It's the 25th of May. Hard to believe May is just about slipped away from us. Recording this just after midnight, early Saturday morning. Going to be another active day across Alabama on this holiday weekend. We could call it partly sunny with a chance of warnings. We do have SPC risks today, tomorrow. Probably we'll have one on Monday as well. Let's kind of dive into the details. First, the radar here at 10 after 12 on early Saturday morning, showing showers and thunderstorms there. Parts of western Kentucky, and southern Illinois, southeastern Missouri, down into Arkansas, even to Texas. This is next on our agenda. We're going to deal with it later this morning as it sort of limps into Alabama. Not a good handle on exactly how strong it will be, but there are indications from our convection allowing models like the HRRR that say these storms will intensify at mid-morning. Certainly by then, with all the warmth and humidity, our Cape values will be rising, and it looks like we could see some strong to severe thunderstorms develop during the mid-morning hours, and then those storms would push to the southeast. Now, kind of just like yesterday, Friday, area of showers will move into North Alabama even earlier, 6, 7 o'clock, and those will lay down another outflow boundary. That was interesting what we saw yesterday. It'll be more of the same today, and then, we'll kind of see how things go. As we get, later in the day, those rain chances should lessen. So if you have outdoor plans, in the afternoon, you're probably okay, at least north of the I-85 corridor. High temperatures are going to be in the middle and upper 80s across the entire area. Now, where do I want to go next? Let's go to let's go to the upper pattern across North America. And this is what it looks like early on the Saturday morning. Big trough of low pressure in the upper atmosphere, really over the northwestern half of the country. Broad ridge over the Gulf of Mexico, extending its influence into the coastal sections, giving us just a slight bit of a northwesterly flow. That's why it's interesting you saw the thunderstorms yesterday afternoon that moved out of Arkansas, Mississippi, and Alabama. There was even a tornado warning for Panola and Lafayette counties in Mississippi near Oxford. And even though there may have been a brief debris signature that I saw on correlation coefficient, but it didn't seem the Weather Service in Memphis thought the same thing. So that's great because they let the warning, the next warning that followed that warning went down to a severe thunderstorm warning. And then a few minutes later, they upgraded it back to a tornado warning. But I didn't hear any reports of any damage or anything like that. And hopefully that was the case. You wouldn't have thought there'd be tornadoes. Their storm relative helicity was only about 125 meters squared per second squared. And that's about where ours is going to be in Alabama today. So, when we talk about thunderstorms in Alabama, we always say expect the unexpected. And I wouldn't think that's out of the question for today or tomorrow. At least some of the predicted soundings off the HRRR indicate there is a teeny tiny tornado chance. So don't be shocked if you do hear a tornado warning. But if you hear it out of the Weather Service in Birmingham, boy, you better really. Now, you have to take all warnings seriously. Remember, respect the polygon. But if you hear one come out of Birmingham, you really got to take it seriously. These guys are good as they come in the country. And many thanks and hats off to them. So we'll be watching that as we go through the day today. Let's put the upper pattern in motion. You see the ridge is kind of desperately hanging on, but this trough that's going to swing through the central and southern plains today It's going to cause a lot of severe weather in Oklahoma and Kansas. As a matter of fact, some of the significant tornado parameters are really, really high, especially this evening, and only for a brief window. So it'll be interesting to watch our friends David Payne, Lacey Swope out at News 9 in Oklahoma City, because I think they're going to be busy. Hopefully the cap will hold or something will prevent this from occurring, and they won't last very long tonight, but we could see some fairly big tornadoes. Nothing like that here in Alabama, of course. Now, this system, by Sunday is moving into the Ohio Valley. Here we see it Sunday night, early Monday morning, and it's going to transfer that severe weather threat into these areas. We'll see in just a minute some interesting things when we get into the HRRR, especially to the north of Alabama. The trough, though, as we get into Tuesday, Wednesday, is hanging on very tenaciously in the northeastern United States. Big ridge of high pressure building across the central part of the country, and another system will be moving into the northwest. And it was chilly in the northwest on Friday, 27. Friday morning at Bozeman, Montana, a record for the date. Their old record was 28. And that's some beautiful country up there in Big Sky country for sure. But they were freezing their patooties off, literally, on Friday morning. As you see, as we get into next weekend, high pressure, you're really going to notice some beautiful weather in Alabama once we get really through Memorial Day. We'll talk about that in a minute. Chance of showers will not return to our state till Sunday, and really it's going to be those typical summertime thunderstorms developing. But we may have another couple of chances of rain in that week too. Look at that trough over the northeastern United States. We could have some pretty decent rain and storm chances, in that time period. The next place that I want to go here is the HRRR. Because this is going to kind of tell the story. I'm going to use the 0Z run because it goes out the furthest and has a good handle on what I think is going to happen. You see, we're getting through the overnight hours here on Friday night into Saturday until around 3, 4 o'clock. Showers and thunderstorms there that have been over in Arkansas are going to be moving through western Tennessee into the northwest corner of Alabama by 5 a.m. or so today. Boy, does that sound familiar. Those storms will, have some thunder and lightning with them, be kind of loud, but not likely to be severe. But as that disturbance pushes on off to the east, you see showers and thunderstorms intensify over North Alabama there by 8 o'clock. 9 o'clock, they're settling into the Birmingham area, getting fairly intense there along I-20 and just to the south of it in eastern sections, and they grow as they build into the I-85 corridor by 1 o'clock or so. More showers and thunderstorms developing to the west in southern Arkansas, western Mississippi, but those kind of swing to the northeast. We see more showers and thunderstorms developing over Alabama there. This is 5 o'clock, and we see those storms increasing in coverage and intensity, and they seem to blossom there around 7, 8 o'clock over north central Alabama. It's very brief. They begin to weaken, and that's good news. Now, one thing I do want to show here real quick, I'm going to switch back to our friends at Pivotal Weather, their beautiful representation of forecast soundings. Now, this is the forecast sounding for 9 o'clock. And look here, southern Jefferson, northern Shelby definitely predicts a severe possibility. Lots of Cape. Cape is, approaching 3,000, almost 4,000 joules. Even fairly early in the day, starting out with a 79-degree temperature with a 73-degree dew point. The LCL heights, those lifted condensation levels, are low. We said we have the Cape. We have a decent amount of bulk shear. It's not going to be extreme, about 37 knots. That's really fairly low. And just almost no storm relative helicity. She said, well, we can't possibly have a tornado. Well, hope that's right, and think it's right. So, but, damaging wind definitely on the table, even though the downdraft capes are not super extreme. They're still there. And I didn't position that very well on the, on the screen here. Sorry about that. But, we'll kind of go through time, into the next round that forms, around 5 o'clock. This is 8 p.m. off of the HRRR, and we'll pull a forecast sounding for that. And look at there. You've got that slightly curved photograph, not a very classic pattern, but you see they say there's a tornado possible. So a lot of hail analogs right here. We see that. A supercell analog. The significant tornado parameter is not high. I just really can't buy that. But, again, it might not be a surprise if we did. Damaging winds will definitely be the bigger threat, and heavy rain too. Precipitable waters are running 1.7 inches to 2 inches, and if you get a slow moving storm, that can make for some pretty heavy precipitation. We're seeing average storm oceans in the 15 to 25 miles an hour range later today. So hopefully that won't be a problem. We go on out here. Let's see what I might see. It looks like anything that comes in here tomorrow night probably, will be really, really late after midnight, and hopefully things will have begun to weaken. Now, I'm taking you through Saturday evening, and now we're getting into Sunday. Look at here. We've got round of showers and thunderstorms moving through the Ohio Valley there, noon on Sunday, and another line developing back across Illinois and Missouri. More showers and thunderstorms forming in southwestern Kentucky, western Tennessee, and Arkansas. And I think it's interesting to see that this system could actually support 3 lines of thunderstorms on Sunday. So I think we have to take it seriously. Almost certainly there's going to be an enhanced risk of severe weather for Sunday, which will be our day 2 period when the SPC issues it, with probably a slight risk down into central Alabama. So we'll be watching that, very very carefully. Yeah, as we go into the NAM here, our other model that we like, you see that the development on Saturday morning, the development on Saturday afternoon, and then really nothing through much of the day on Sunday. And I'm showing this because it looks to me like the line of thunderstorms might not make it into northwest Alabama till after midnight. And of course, that's the best possible time. So we may have a little shake, rattle, and roll as this front gets into northwest Alabama on Monday. It's going to position itself along the I-20 corridor by mid-morning. And this could mean that most of our activity as we get into, Monday, is going to actually develop over the southern part of Alabama. So you see it firing there on Monday night, late Monday afternoon, Monday night, pushing into South Alabama. Now look what happens here. We're dry on Tuesday, less humid. In north and central Alabama, temperature is going to be a little bit cooler. The GFS, not quite as bullish on this idea of dry and cooler weather, keeping a little more activity here. We'll have to kind of watch that. So you go back to the 18Z run here, and you look at those same time frames, well, that's not really true. There's some showers there Tuesday and Wednesday, so we may have to look at that really hard. I kind of bid on what the Weather Service was saying here. Let's go to the European and see if that's, maybe kind of where the thinking process is. This is back to Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. A little few showers over south central Alabama. A little reinforcing front comes in. Big high pressure over the east, though. We're getting some return flow, but you can see Friday, Saturday, it takes, and really the European doesn't think we'll have any showers by Sunday. So, we got a little possible disagreement there. We'll have to kind of see how that shakes itself out. But I'll take you back to the GFS here, for a second, and get you kind of into that week 2 period. You know what we call it. It's voodoo territory. The ridge, still holding strong, but a front makes its way in here by Wednesday the 5th, makes it all the way to the Gulf Coast by Friday the 7th, and then we get into another drier air mass. But if you go back and look in that, the frontal passage there at midweek, there could be a few strong to severe thunderstorms. These are highs today, middle 80s in the Tennessee Valley. generally around 89. The I-20 corridor to around 90, down around Tuscaloosa and Demopolis. As we get into Sunday, it's going to be even warmer. Most folks will get pretty close to 90. Little cooler on Monday as that front begins to work its way in. Much cooler on Tuesday. How about 83 for the daytime high at Decatur? We'll take it. Still warm at Birmingham, 88. Wednesday, we're down to 86. You see some flirting with some 70s in North Alabama. Boy, that'd be nice, wouldn't it? 86, 87 on Friday. Into Saturday, things start to warm back up, and so do the humidity levels. These are lows, and we'll kind of look at all these in one place. This is National Blend of Models. Lows on Sunday morning, 60s over the northern third of the state, 70s elsewhere. Little warmer Monday, certainly cooler Tuesday. How about that? Few of those normally colder locations, and you know who you are going to be in the upper 50s Tuesday morning. I'd kind of promised you we wouldn't see any more 50s, but I knew better. I jinxed us when we said that. Upper 50s to near 60 in the northern third of the state, lower to middle 60s in the central part of the state on Wednesday morning. Thursday morning, still cool. Friday, still cool. That reinforcing high pressure will be in good shape. We start to warm a little bit on those morning lows on Saturday, and boom, the spell is starting to break by the time we get to Sunday. All right, now I think I've showed you everything I need to show you there except for dew points. Let's go off the National Blend of Models. I want you to just see this tantalizingly drier air to the north that kind of falls apart Sunday. You see those high dew points up in the Ohio Valley. That's going to power those severe thunderstorms. But here comes our front finally, and it works its way in. It takes a little time. It's like the engine that could. The little engine that could will keep pushing drier air into the state, and that drier air may stay with at least the northeastern third of the state into next weekend. We'll take that. These are temperatures off the National Blend of Models the next 12 days or so, showing our warmest day will be Sunday. We're going to generally, though, be in the middle to upper 80s the whole time. We'll come back to 90 there around the 4th. Overnight low is going to be on a little mini late spring roller coaster. 70s the next couple of mornings, falling back into the 60s. In Birmingham, the average low for the area. Our coolest mornings look like they're going to be Thursday and Friday around 63, 62 degrees. We will take it. Now, how much rainfall? This is total rainfall off from the WPC across the country. You see nobody getting any really heavy rainfall amounts. And if you know what the drought picture looks like right now, South Alabama is looking pretty good. The short-term lawn and garden needs are fine. And the short-term lawn and garden needs over North Alabama are fine. It's this middle part of the state in the I-20 corridor that's really suffering. We could use the rain. But I tell you what, this is going to be 168 hours, going out to next Friday night. Rainfall amounts on average about an inch and a quarter over North Alabama, half inch in the central and southern parts of the state. We need more than that for sure. And we're going out in the tropics here. This is, what's going on tonight. Got an upper level low. Disturbance there southwest of Bermuda off the Atlantic coast. You can kind of see it right here. But that system through the overnight hours tonight does not appear to be strengthening very much. Still, the National Hurricane Center does put about a 10% chance, but I think that chance is slipping, and it probably will drop off of the tropical weather outlook. This is winds off the GFS over the Atlantic basin in this coming week, and they're not anything spectacular. Can't find anything developing subtropical or tropical as we go into the early part of the week of the work week ahead. Extratropical system moving through northeastern Canada there, bringing some strong winds off the east coast, but nothing tropical or subtropical in nature. And we go all the way through next weekend, another front off the east coast. Saturday night, the 1st, I don't know if that's a warm core system. It's probably a cold core. It could be subtropical. We'll have to kind of watch that. That's some pretty interesting winds there, 50 knots, by the weekend. Hey, that could be our the first storm. And you know what? If it is our first storm, it will be Alberto, followed by Beryl and Chris. And all these names. I love looking at the hurricane names. Debbie, Ernesto, Francine, Gordon, Helene, Isaac, Joyce, Kirk, Leslie, Milton, Nadine, Oscar, Patty, Raphael, Sarah, Tony, Valerie, and my name is right there. And who knows, this may be the year that we get to my name, according to NOAA, who, kind of scared everybody with their report on Thursday. Calling for 17 to 25 name storms. On average, we get 14. Compares to what Colorado State. You say, why is Colorado State issuing hurricane forecasts? Well, that's because they just have a long history of it. Phil Klotzbach runs that program, and they're really skilled at this. They're calling for 23 name storms. And I tell you what, that would exhaust this list, and we'll have to go to the extra list, which I don't even have here to show you. But, that could very easily happen. Colorado State calling for 11 hurricanes, NOAA hedging their bets, 8 to 13. Major hurricanes, we normally see 3. Phil Klotzbach and his team says 5. NOAA says 4 to 7. They got it covered there. Take the over-under, and, maybe over. This year. Now, I don't say all that to scare you or to hype, but, we have record warm waters in the Atlantic in the presence of a La Nina, and those two conditions favor above normal averages. Now, everything depends on where that, subtropical ridge sets up, the Bermuda High. If it's to the east and we can get these things to turn out to sea, that's fabulous. But if it sets up over New England, we heard from Dr. Greg Nordstrom on Weatherbrains Monday night that's his fear. That it will set up right there over New England and the maritime provinces of Canada. And if that happens, it's a situation called ridge over the top. That tends to shove all those hurricanes into the east coast of the United States. So believe me, this will be the year to go through your preparations, walk through your, the normal things you would think about if the hurricane were bearing down on you. Are your insurance policies up to date? Have you trimmed the trees that might, damage your property? Do you know what your steps will be at a hurricane watch and a hurricane warning if you have interests along the Gulf Coast or the Atlantic coast? Also, because they're both equally vulnerable. And just walk through that mental exercise. If you don't have a plan, think about what it should be. There are great resources on the web from the Weather Service and lots of great sources like that. So, we'll be watching. And I mentioned Weatherbrains, our favorite 2 hours of the week. Been trying to shorten the show. It's impossible. Had great guests this week. Dr. Greg Nordstrom and our friend Mark Suddeth joined us. And then we had the folks from the Stormfront Freaks who have created another severe weather YouTube channel. But these guys are legit. So if you get a chance to see any of the work by Brady Harris or Cyrena Arnold or any of the great folks, Phil Johnson, those folks at the Stormfront Freaks, either on their regular podcast or when they're covering severe weather, I promise it's a great time. For us this week, we are going to speak to the wonderkind of weather. It's going to be a fabulous, fabulous show on Monday night when we get together at 7 p.m. because we are going to have, an amazing young man, Mr. Beckett Moore. He runs More Weather, MOOREWX. You can find it on all his social media channels. But this young man is amazing, and his parents are fabulous to support him. He will be a weather superstar. Everyone is sort of gaga over his early interest in talent, and he's been making the rounds at the weather conferences, and I got to meet him there at the Storm Chaser Conference. I think that's right, Storm Chaser Conference in February, and also at the NWA last year in Kansas City. So make sure to tune in. Watch last week's show if you haven't already. If you haven't ever watched the show, give it a try. I think you'll love it. You can get it wherever you get your podcast. You can get it at youtube.com/weatherbrains. We also show it there live when we're recording. And you can also go to the website, weatherbrains.com, where all of our 900 gazillion episodes over 18 years are there. We've talked to almost everybody in the weather enterprise. If we got somebody we haven't gotten on that you want to hear, just drop me a message, email at weatherbrains.com, and we will get that person on there for you. Well, it's going to be a busy day today, busy day tomorrow, busy day Sunday. I'll have notes on the blog, complete update on the forecast at noon. I think we'll be around with a lot of posts. Hopefully we won't have any, really significant severe weather, but just understand the forecast is partly cloudy with a chance of warnings. Well, that's it for me. Scott will do this tomorrow. James will be back, but probably with a holiday schedule on Monday. Then he'll do his normal amazing stuff two-a-days, Tuesday through Friday. Scott will be back next Saturday, unless we change it up like we did this week again. And I will be back on Sunday. And until I get that opportunity, as I always tell you, keep an eye to the sky, because you're always going to have something amazing to look at.